Welcome back to the Catnip Podcast. My name is Grace and today is Friday, June 15th. We have a full episode this week. I am so excited about it. This is a podcast about knitting, a lot of knitting, sometimes spinning, crafting, books, cats, baking, and pretty much anything that I think will be fun to share with you, but most of all knitting because that is what I love to do the most. Like always, all my various social medias will be linked all the places. I am most active on Instagram, but there's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Ravelry if you'd like to go and follow me on any of those things. But like I said, Instagram is the most regularly updated. In addition to that, all the links to the things that I will have talked about in this episode will be linked in the show notes. If you are on my blog, they'll be down below, or if you are on YouTube, that link to my blog will be down below in the down bar. So, all that is said and taken care of. Today, I feel like it's a very happy day. It's very cloudy, it's rainy. I have a delicious cup of coffee and one of my favorite mugs. I'm wearing a fun lip color. We have a fun weekend ahead of us. I'm just very excited. I'm in a good mood, which is good because, but let's say that for the main body of the podcast, so this is not a super long intro. Like I said, there'll be a lot to talk about, so I'm very excited to share all this fun, exciting news with you guys. So let us get into that. If you would like to go grab something tasty to drink today, like I said, I have my coffee and my one of my favorite mugs. It is very hot because I literally just made it. So if you'd like to go grab something tasty to drink or something to snack on or craft or whatever while we spend some time together and I tell you about what I've been crafting, and you can come back and join me for some crafty chat. Ooh, that's good. That's real good. So, first off, I would like to get the elephant out of the room. There's not really an elephant in the room, but it's been irritating me, so I'm gonna let you know. So if it bothers you, I apologize. But I don't know what my bangs are doing today, so they're just not very happy. They don't look the way that I would like them to look, so if they change positions and are weird, I'm very sorry. I'm trying my best to fix them, but they just won't be fixed. So they're in that weird place where they're just long enough that they need a trim, but they're not long enough for me to trim them because I've done that before. Also, I have a hair appointment in a couple of weeks, so what's the point? But also I could, and I'm sure they would be just as long then as they are now because my hair grows really fast. Anyway, this is not relevant. I apologize for the state of my bangs in this episode. Also for the lighting. I know it's cloudy outside. The blinds are as shut as they can be, but the sun obviously is very bright because that's what the sun is. Fact. So the light will change. I'm sorry for that, but that's really not that big a deal. So fun times. So going back to the intro, today I feel like is really wonderful. I'm just in a very good mood. This past week has been kind of a wonk. I pulled a muscle in my shoulder neck area on Tuesday, and so it kind of like really put a damper on the whole week, and so that was kind of rough, but it's much better now. It's still a little stiff, but you know what, it's much better than it was on Tuesday or Wednesday, that's for sure. So I'm happy about that, and I'm just very happy about this coming weekend and fun plans that we have, and it's been a good day so far. But it's only 9:15, so we're doing good so far. I also just really like Fridays in general. Obviously, everybody likes Fridays for the most part. I mean, not everybody, but a lot of people usually like Fridays because it means it's the weekend, it's the last day of work in your work week, all that jazz. So fun fact about me, here's a little bit of story time. I'm sorry we're not getting into the knitting right away, but I mean, you might enjoy knowing random things about me. I don't know. So when I was growing up, my parents would always go on some form of a date night or something on Friday nights, which would leave me and my younger brother to be taken care of by my older two siblings. And we would always always go and rent a movie from Blockbuster, which obviously no longer exists, but we would go and rent a movie from Blockbuster, and we would get a pizza, and it would be so much fun, and we would do that every single Friday night. And it also, if you are new to the podcast, pizza is probably my favorite food of all time. I would eat pizza for every single meal. I love it so much. And so pizza, and that's probably why we did it. Why I love it so much is because we did it so much. Words. And the sun's gone behind the clouds. Anyway, so I, ever since, like, going to college and being out of my parents' house, that Friday tradition has remained true and strong. Friday was always pizza of some sort, and that has continued on into my married life, which is very exciting. Friday is pizza night and Friday is movie night, so that's very fun for me. I really think it's a fun, like, tradition to have, whether it is a date night for you or whether it's not a date night. I mean, technically it is kind of a date because you're getting food that you didn't necessarily prepare and you're watching a movie together, so it's an at-home date. Anyway, so fun fact about me, that's what we did on Friday nights when I was growing up, and I love pizza. And so usually on Friday nights I'm probably having pizza with my husband and watching a movie. So, and probably knitting. Especially tonight because, oh my goodness, people, I have so much fun knitting to talk about. I am so excited. So let's get past the random facts of life about me, which you're probably not super interested in. But let us get into the knitting, shall we? So first off, I don't know where to begin. I have several things knitting-wise to talk about with you guys. Things that I am so close to finishing, things that I have started, things that I have continued to work on, things that I will be working on, things I'll be winding up tonight, and big things that I accomplished. And the adrenaline has definitely, like, lowered significantly because I did this last Saturday night, so almost a week ago. And I know I'm being very vague about this. I should just go ahead and say it. People, I steeked my sweater. I actually did it. I cut my sweater open and I was, like, profusely sweating the entire time. My hands were shaking. I was so scared. It was terrifying, but also so thrilling and just very, like, woo, I'm cutting open my sweater. What the poop is happening? I don't know, but let's continue to do it. Wow. I did it, so my sweater's now cut open. If you follow me on Instagram, I was posting pictures almost at every single step of the way, so there were about 3 or 4 Instagram posts in the span of 2 hours, I think. I feel like it took me longer than 2 hours, but I don't know. Either way, there were a lot of posts on Instagram, there were Instagram stories, all that stuff happened, and so if you follow me on Instagram, you were probably very aware that that happened. And before I continue on, if you are new to the podcast, I have been knitting a sweater called Mom's Popcorn Bomber. It is a knit along with my mom. We are both knitting the same thing. The pattern is by a Nordic knitting tale. It is not on Ravelry, but it is on her website. So that is what I link in the show notes if you want to go check it out. It is a steek sweater. It is our first steek sweater. My mom's also first steek sweater. So I have done the deed. I have steeked and cut open a sweater that I have lovingly knit, and it was quite an adventure. It definitely was. I will say, so last week, I don't remember if I had at that point started practicing steeking, but if not, I think I started on, like, Friday night, or Friday that afternoon, maybe. I don't remember if I had. I feel like that's definitely something I should remember, but I don't remember. I'm sorry. So I was steeking and doing a mighty fine job. I was really, like, it was actually kind of soothing to me because it was almost kind of like a puzzle, like which strands do I pick up and which ones do I not pick up and which ones do I need to cut and all that kind of stuff. I really enjoyed that. But I was having some serious issues that were like really, really discouraging me, and I didn't know what I was doing wrong. I didn't know how to fix it. And I didn't know like what to look up in order to teach myself how to fix it. And so that was just like, what am I even doing with myself? Like, I can't figure this out. I don't know what's going on. I've tried this so many different ways and it's not working. I was very sad about this. To put it very lightly. I was very, very upset with myself that I couldn't figure it out, which I know, like, I need to be kind to myself because I was teaching myself something, and I was new. But so in my entire knitting career, there have been very few things that have very, like, and also I realize this is going to sound kind of like prideful. I'm not saying this in a prideful way, but there have been very few things that have really like super challenged me. Some things, everything has been difficult starting off, and everything has been like a huge learning curve, whether it's been cables or lace or reading my knitting or figuring how to fix my knitting if it messes up, or even beginning to knitting. Like, that was a challenge. But nothing has challenged me quite like steeking. Mainly because I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. Everything else I could figure out what I was doing wrong, and I could figure out how to fix that and how to explain it or figure it out in a way in my mind that made sense. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. And again, I'm not trying to make it sound like I'm some knitting wizard that has never had knitting issues, because that is very, very far from the truth. I will be the first one to speak of any of my knitting woes and miseries and unfinished knitting projects that were tear-worthy. So I've definitely had my share of knitting woes and travesties and trials and all those words that we can use to describe that. So yes, but it's just steeking was not clicking. The first cast on edge and the cast off edge, I could not get it right. Because no matter how, like, what I was doing, no matter what strands I was picking up, there were a couple times that it did work, but I didn't know why it worked. And that really frustrated me, because I was like, I finally got it to work and I don't know why. I don't know which strands it was that I picked up that happened to make it work, and this is super frustrating. So I went to the Ravelry boards and the forums, and I asked a very long question, and so many people replied, and they were very kind about the fact that I was probably asking a dumb question. But they were very, very informative, and I really, really appreciate all that information. So if you are beginning to steek and you might have my same problem, I will link the forum question or whatever. I asked it in the techniques forum, which I did not know that that was a thing where you could just have a forum in general without a group on Ravelry, so I learned something. I learned a lot of things. So that was exciting that I got that response, and I had information from people who like steek all the time and have a huge steeking bank of knowledge and experience, and so that was really kind of encouraging. But it was also kind of like, this seems like a very easy thing to do, and I don't understand why I can't, and I'm very frustrated with myself. So that was a kind of a wah-wah, a bummer deal, but that's okay, because you know what, in the end, spoiler alert, I steek my sweater. So I think all that was going on either Thursday night or Friday night, I don't remember which one. But so I was thinking about it and just trying to figure out what I was doing wrong. I was looking up as many tutorials and stuff on the internet that I could. I was saving everything. I was just trying to find ways to figure out what I was doing wrong and how I could fix it. And so my main problem, like I got the body, like the main portion of whatever I was steeking my little swatches down pat. Like that was super fine. I enjoyed it. It was very easy. Like I said, it was the cast on edge and the cast off edge. I don't know what my problem was, but no matter what, if I once I finished and I cut it open, if I pulled slightly at either the cast on edge or the cast off edge, it would come apart. The reinforcement would just come off and the yarn would be cut and kind of unraveling. And so I was just so frustrated and I didn't know what to do. It was just like, I just need help. I need someone to show me what I'm doing wrong. It was very upsetting. So I was thinking about it up until Saturday evening, and I kept on doing it, and it made me very grumpy, very, very grumpy, like incredibly grumpy. I cannot tell you how grumpy it made me, and I am very sorry and had to apologize several times to my husband because I was just so grumpy, and it was like, you shouldn't have to deal with this, husband. I'm sorry that this is a problem. Please forgive me for my grumpiness because I can't figure out how to steek. But oh, the woes of knitting life. So in the end, it kind of turned into a funny story. At the time, it was not funny, but like I was very not a fun person to be around. So Saturday evening, my husband was very sweet and like just kind of let me do my thing and was occasionally asked me how I was doing because he knew what I was doing and I had explained to him why I was having problems, or like what I was having problems with, I should say. And so he was just doing his thing and I was trying to figure it out, and I was looking up things on the internet again and again and again. This is turning into a very long story and I'm very sorry. I haven't even shown you any knitting yet. And it finally got to a point where I was like, you know what? I should just do it. Like, I really need, maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe I just need to do it and hope it works. And so I did. One of the people that responded to me on Ravelry was like, don't tug at it. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But also part of me was like, does this need to be strong enough so if it does get tugged at, it won't like come apart. What I wasn't thinking about was that by the time that you will probably be tugging at it, it will have been reinforced again at least 2 other times. By tacking it down and also picking up stitches for the button band. And I was like, oh, okay. But at the time, I was still in denial, and I was like, I don't think that'll work, but again, I have no idea. So I told my husband that I was going to be steeking. I was actually going to steek my sweater, and he was like, okay, what can I do to help? Which was so incredibly sweet of him, and it was just so wonderful, and he offered to like stand and sit with, or not stand and sit with me. He offered to sit with me and just kind of like offer encouraging words while I did it. He offered to film, which I did film the entire process, so there will be stuff at the end of this podcast episode if you are interested. You will get to see me doing the process of steeking, which I will talk about in just a minute. He offered to pour me a glass of sangria, which was very nice and definitely helped the nervousness, I think. So he was very, very helpful and very wonderful, and very kind of him since I was such a grump about it. Anyway, so I was like, I don't need your help quite yet. I need to reinforce it. I need to actually do the crocheting, and then once I actually get ready to do the cutting, I will let you know and you can come over and you can help me. Because at this point I was sitting at our kitchen table and he was playing video games on the couch. That was super cool. I think this is funny. This is like my steeking story. So yeah, I like turned on some really motivational music. I was listening to The Greatest Showman. It was wonderful. And did the whole crocheting thing up and down, and I like tried to catch whatever strands I needed to catch for the cast on and cast off edge, and I was like, oh dear Lord, please let this work. Please let it work. So I did that, and when you watch the footage, depending on how I edit it, you will see me kind of singing, not really singing, lip syncing the words and dancing, so that's fun. I hope you enjoyed that. There's just something about that music that you just can't not move to. It's just so moving and inspiring. Anyway, that is not the point. I did it. I let my husband know I was getting ready to cut, and he came over and he filmed for me, and it was so wonderful and so kind of him, and he kept saying encouraging words to me like, you're doing a good job, you can do this, it'll be okay. And it was just fine. It was just fine, and so that was it was quite an adventure. I was, like I said at the beginning, I was sweating profusely by the end. My hands were shaking so badly, which I don't know if you can see in the film, but like my hands, the scissors were shaking, and I was like, oh goodness, this is not a good thing when I'm cutting my knitting. And upon discussing this, right before I did it, I texted my mom, I texted another knitting friend. They were very encouraging, and they were like, send me pictures, you can do this, you are a pro knitter, you can do it. And I was like, you know what, I can do this. It's really gonna be okay, and if not, you know what, it'll be incredibly sad, but it will not be the end of the world. So you can do this. And I did it, and my sweater is fine. I've tried it on. I've knit one of the button bands. Like, I'm so close to being done with it. It's incredible. I'm so excited. So I was talking about just the whole steeking thing in general with my husband and with my mom. Like I said about knitting in general for me, there have been very few knitting things that have actually scared me. This actually terrified me. Like, I was legitimately scared that it wasn't gonna work, that it was gonna unravel, and all these hours and all the upsetness about this particular sweater was just gonna like unravel and just go away, and I would have done it all for nothing, and I wouldn't have a sweater. And that was not the case, because it worked out just fine. Oh my goodness, it was so stressful, but it was, in the end, it was fine. And you're probably just really wanting to see the sweater at this point, because I've talked for more than 20 minutes at this point. So, I apologize. This is gonna be a long episode. I'm glad, but I'm also sorry if you were hoping for a shorter episode. Anyway, so, you guys, this sweater has come a long way. This sweater has come a really long way. Because this was my tale of knitting woe. We cast on the wrong size, or I cast on the wrong size. It just wasn't fitting. I had to rip out the entire thing. I had already divided for the sleeves. That was hard. But I fixed it, and I cast on. And I just continued on my merry way, not thinking about the impending steeking, but I did it anyway, and you guys, it's now a cardigan. I freaking did it. I steeked a sweater for the first time. I taught myself how to steek. That was such a big thing on my knitting to-do list this year. I am so proud of myself. And I know that sounds kind of weird to be like, oh my goodness, I am so proud of myself for teaching myself this really hard thing. I'm so proud of myself. I'm really proud of myself. I did something hard. I did something that scared me. I did something that was uncomfortable. Again, comfort is the enemy of progress. Which was very fitting that I was listening to The Greatest Showman while I was doing this, because it was like, you know what? This is true. I just need to suck it up and do it. So you can see over here, this is my first button band, and I have my buttonholes. And look at that, it's no longer a pullover, and I steeked it. Ooh. I got very emotional when I did this. I was like, oh my goodness, I just did something really hard, and this adrenaline is just really incredible right now. So, here's the inside. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? Is it the best steek in the world? Definitely not. Is it my first steek? Yes. Am I very proud of myself? Yes. How many times can I say I'm proud of myself? A lot. So I need to pick up the button band on this side, but that's it. That's literally knitting like 5 or 6 rows of ribbing, and I'm done with this sweater. I need to weave in a couple bends. I don't think I definitely won't be like fully submerging it, blocking it, because I really like the size of it right now and I don't want to get it to get too big. That was a lot of words and I said them too quickly. Apologies. I just really like the way that it is now, and so yeah. I can't believe I did it. I'm just so excited. So yes, Mom's Popcorn Bomber is almost done. My mom, I think she just cast off the body and is going to be working on the sleeves. So she has a while to go. Not too big of a while, but she is not steeking at the moment. But when her time comes, obviously I will be there to help her. And we can do it together. Mom, you got this. If I can do it, literally, if I can steek something, anybody can steek something. It's very terrifying. I will not tell you that it's not scary, because it is. Because you've spent so much time, you've spent a lot of love and effort and just energy into something that you really want to wear, and you're just like, I want this so badly, I just want to wear it. And then you're like, oh, well, I'll just cut it open. And there's a chance that it might not work. And there's a chance that it's just like not gonna be a thing that you want anymore. And that's really scary. And you just kind of have to suck it up and... Oh, so worth it though. So worth it. Definitely a good memory, a highlight of my knitting career, and definitely this year. I think that was a really special time and a special moment for me, and also very fun that my husband could be a part of it. Because you gotta have the good knitting support, you know? So. Will I be steeking again? For sure. Will I be steeking again very soon? Probably not. I'm gonna take a little break because this was a lot and I need to calm down and just kind of like wrap my head around about doing it and it being okay. So I'm so excited about this though. I'm so excited. I can't believe I did it. I can't believe it. Ah! So to discuss this very quickly, because I have been recording for 32 minutes and I don't want this to be too long, because editing is a thing. But you know what? I should be happy when I have content, so it'll be fine. Also, I have my SD and my battery to take into consideration, so there's also that. Anyway, so this is the current progress on my Onette, O-N-E-T-E sweater. This is a free pattern. I'm knitting this out of Knit Picks palette in the Limeade Heather colorway. This is a commissioned knit for a friend. This is grown, not too significantly, but this is definitely on my top things to knit, obviously, because it is a commission knit. And I realize that this is my third or fourth week maybe to show you it, and get cracking on it. But fun times, fun times. This is like mindless knitting right now. That's good. Okay, now we have fun things to talk about. Not that those things weren't fun, but so first thing I'll talk about that I don't have to show you. So guys, oh my goodness. The yarn for my Zweig has come in. It is at my parents' house, and I'm gonna go pick it up this afternoon because they're out of town and I'm taking care of their plants. And I get to go pick it up. And I might cast it on tonight. I don't know. I might. I'm so excited about this. I just cannot even stand it. So obviously the bag of yarn from Jimmy Beans was shipped to my parents' house because my mom needed her yarn for this trip that they were going on. But when the bag arrived, she FaceTimed me, which is super fun that we can do that, and that is a thing. So she FaceTimed me, and we opened up the package, she opened the package, and I observed because obviously I was on FaceTime together, and she showed me my yarn, and oh my goodness, everybody, I cannot believe it. It's just so beautiful. Like, it was pretty, obviously I know things are a little bit different in person than they are like on camera, but I know that regardless of what it ends up being in person, I will absolutely adore it. Oh my goodness, everybody. The colors are just so beautiful. And I know I just keep going on and on about it, and I have nothing to show you, and I apologize for that. Next week, though, I will have something to show you. Whether or not it'll be cast on or not, I don't know. But at least I'll have the yarn to show you. So yes, I'm going to go get the yarn this afternoon, and I'm going to also water their plants and check their mail because that is the main point of me going over there. But I will also get to pick up my yarn, which is so exciting, and oh my goodness, I'm so excited. There'll probably be pictures on Instagram, so don't worry if you're not following me. I highly recommend you follow me just because that is where everything happens. So keep an eye out for that. So like I said, this is my Zweig sweater by Kaylin Hunter. This is the cowl that my mom and I are doing that we have called the decorative yoke cowl because she is doing Wool and Honey by Andrea Mallory, which is her most recent sweater pattern that has just come out. It is a pullover with cabled slip stitches in a honeycomb fashion, which is super pretty, and she has picked Cascade 220 fingering in the Embers Heather's colorway, excuse me. And I picked Malabrigo sock and one skein of Madeline Tosh light twist, I think, in the Cordovan. I don't know how it's pronounced. I know that there's several ways to pronounce it, so I apologize if I'm saying it correctly. But then my Madeline Tosh skein is in the Marfa colorway, which is just so cool because that's a place in Texas, and like, I live in Texas, and it's just so fun. Oh my goodness, everybody. So she's cast hers on. She taught herself how to do the tubular cast on, which is pretty cool. I don't know how to do that. So that's very fun. She's working on hers, and hopefully I will get to cast on mine soon. But that leads me to my second fun thing to talk about, my test knit, which is super exciting. I was given permission to talk about it on the podcast, and I was encouraged to talk about it on the podcast, which is very exciting and very kind. And there are balls of yarn everywhere in here, so I want to do this very carefully because I'm getting some color work right now. Woo! Fun fact, this is living in my very old bag of the WC Mercantile, which is in Navasota, Texas, which was the closest yarn store to me when I was in college. But that is not relevant to the test knit. Anyway, so This is another Caitlin Hunter pattern, and I'm not sure, I'm not 100% on the name of this yet. Oh my, this is very tangled, so I'm going to do my best to untangle this while talking to you. But the test knit is being done in collaboration with Yoth Yarns, or Yarn on the House Yarns. The original one was used with, or knit up with, Little Boy, their base, which is a fingering weight. And this is very tangled, and I apologize for me not looking at you while I talk. But I do want to show this to you without needing to worry about all this stuff. This was a bad idea to put this in my bag. Bad idea! Bad idea. Okay. So, I am not using Little Brother. I am using Cascade 220 Fingering, which is actually the same yarn that my mom is using for her Woolen Honey pullover, which is very exciting. Okay, we just need to wrap this up. Okay, so the maroon is fine. Okay, so I think at this point, last week I did not have my yarn yet, or it was being shipped. So I did not have it to show you. Why is this all tangled up? People, yarn, get it together. What is your problem? So it arrived, I think it showed up on Saturday, but I ended up picking it up on Monday from our post office box. And this is still tangled. I'm very sorry. So I was able to swatch and do all that jazz, all that important things when you're doing a test knit. Got gauge. It was wonderful. We are all untangled now, so. Is that all untangled? Praise the Lord. Okay. Hello. So I got gauge, all that super cool stuff. Important. The pattern, the first portion of the pattern was released to the testers yesterday, so I got to cast on and I got to continue on with the pattern and knitting, because that's what you do. This is a tunic-y type pullover sweater with long sleeves, or maybe chopped off right around there. So maybe almost 3/4, a little bit longer than 3/4, I think. And then there's a big chunk of color work around the bottom, and there's a couple of cables involved. It's a drop shoulder. I think it's a high neck or a crew neck or whatever, I think, if I remember correctly. I am very excited about this. I am not describing it very well, but it is so cute, and oh my goodness, I think I'm gonna get so much good use out of it. I'm so excited to be able to test knit this. I am over the moon. I think this will be so much fun. So, like I said, I'm using Cascade 220 Fingering. I don't remember what this colorway is called, but it's maroon. Can't go wrong with maroon. That's pretty accurate. And then I have this. And I do remember that this is called Doe Skin Heather. Fun fact. So together, this is the main body of the sweater, and this is the contrasting one. Contrasting color, excuse me. Let's be technical. So I was also given permission to show you what I am working on, or show you my progress, which is also very exciting. So thank you for that permission. I really appreciate it. Here's what I have so far. I know it doesn't look like much, but it's definitely made progress. I feel like, so it's on pretty small needles, I feel like I did a good amount of work yesterday. I think that's pretty awesome, because I had to cast on a poop ton of stitches because it's knit from the bottom up, and obviously it's a tunic, so it's more flowy, and there's just thousands upon thousands of stitches. Not literally, but there are a lot of them. So knitting one row does take a long time. But that is not, obviously not a bad thing. I'm just saying that because I feel like I got a lot of work done yesterday, considering the amount of stitches. So I'm very excited with it. I also am excited, this is not relevant to the test knit itself, but I went through my stitch markers recently and was able to pull out some of my old ones, like this little guy. I forgot I have like an assortment of owls so I can use those, and I'm very excited about it. So yes, this is a, like I said, a test knit for Caitlin Hunter and Yoth Yarn on the House yarns. So that's very exciting. I am looking forward to continuing to knit on this. Finish the colorwork section so I can show it to you guys. I don't know how soon that will be, but thankfully we have long times in between the pattern. We don't have the whole pattern right now. We just have like little sections, which I think is very nice, so it seems a lot less overwhelming. And we have a long time to finish just one portion of the pattern, so I feel pretty good about it. I'm very excited. So keep an eye out for this. So knitting wise, that is all I have to show you. There was so much to talk about, and I am just so happy about everything in my knitting life that's coming up, and things that I'm doing currently, and things that I've accomplished. I am so proud of myself, and I am really excited to see the things that I can come up with and create in the coming months and years and weeks. Just a lot of fun crafting in my future, and I'm very excited about that. But I am not done talking about fun things, everybody. You may be wondering, what are you going to talk about now? You have a book? Do you have cookies that you want to share with me? No, people, I have something that is a little different. And by different, I mean it's very normal, but this is something that I have never done. This is something that my mom has never done. This is something we'll be doing together, obviously. And you might be wondering what that is. And everybody, we are going to our first Fiber Festival. We're going to Houston Fiber Fest on Friday, June 22nd. I believe that is correct. If not, I will put it here. But hopefully I got that right. We will be there on Friday, June 22nd. And guys, I created pins. I have podcast pins. So if you were going to be there, or if I don't know, if you see me or if you see my mom or whatever, please come and say hello, because I'm super happy to meet you guys. I'm happy to give you a hug. You can show me your knits, I'll show you my knits. We can chat and I'll give you a little podcast pin. I'm also very happy to have podcast pins because I feel like that is the cool and hip thing to do. That was my mom's idea that I create these, and so I decided to draw up a little design and put them on the pins, and I'm so excited about them, so I am looking forward to handing those out. And of course there's part of me that's like, nobody's gonna want a pin, I'm not gonna see anybody, and there's just all that. So either way, if nobody comes and says hi, that's fine. I will still have pins. If people come and say hello, that is absolutely wonderful, and I would love that. So don't be shy. I am super happy to talk to anybody. If you see me doing anything, unless I'm having a serious conversation, in which case maybe wait, but if you would like to come say hi to me and my mom, we would love to say hello to you, and we'd love to give you a pin. So Houston Fiber Fest, June 22nd. It is at the Berry Center. If you are from Houston, that is where it is located. If you are not from Houston, you can give it a Google. I will link to the website in the show notes so you can go and check it out there. But yes, I would love to see you and meet you and again give you a pin. So I do have some cookies to tell you about, because we cannot have a podcast episode without some form of baking. I made some oatmeal chocolate chip cookies this week, and oh my goodness, they were amazing. They were not like mind-blowingly good. They were not super different than any other oatmeal chocolate chip cookies that I made, but they were pretty good. I did add some nutmeg and some pumpkin pie spice, because I just love tasting fall in my oatmeal cookies. I don't know about you, but I personally love tasting fall because it makes me think of colder times when it's not super hot. And also I would like to say thank you everybody for acknowledging that they also like listening to like Christmas music, watching Christmas movies, watching movies where it makes you feel like you're cold. I'm not the only one. Other people do it too, and I think that's wonderful, and I think that's really a cool tool to use when you are not inspired to knit, especially in the summer. I've done that several times this week because I couldn't really do a whole lot because of my shoulder neck muscle thing, and granted, I mean, I could do things, but it wasn't like I could go mow the North 40 or anything like that. So I had all the blinds closed and I watched things set in London, and it was amazing. And the fans were on, the air conditioning was on, it was nice and cool. I was wearing a knit sweater, it was awesome. And I totally forgot about the fact that it was like 98 or something outside. So, and then we got a huge thunderstorm and that was wonderful. So I can't complain too much. That was yesterday. Anyway, that's not relevant and not very important. So that's, yes, you know what I mean. So that is all I have for this week. It has been a full episode of exciting things, adventurous things, future things, and new things. Did I say new things? I don't remember. New things by meaning the Fiber Festival and the pins, because that is very exciting. I don't currently have them, otherwise I would show them to you, but hopefully they'll be coming in the mail sometime soon. I could leave them a surprise, but I don't know if I want to do that, so I'll figure that out. But yes, so that is all I have for this episode. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. This has definitely been a long episode, but if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for spending time with me, and if you are a new viewer, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I get very passionate about knitting and things that I love, and I hope you feel the same. Or I hope I shared some of that passion and joy with you about knitting, because I really love doing that. That's probably one of my favorite things about knitting. So, one of the many things that I love about knitting, I should say. And this is perfect timing because I see that my battery has about 9 minutes left, so we should probably finish this up before I have to stop and recharge. Like I said at the beginning, all my various social medias will be linked everywhere. There's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Ravelry. I'm most active on Instagram. If you'd like to follow me on there, that would be wonderful. Also, the links to all the things that I've talked about in this episode. What am I saying? Let's start over. All the things to the... Oh my goodness. Words. All the links to the things that I have talked about in this episode will be linked in the show notes. If you are on my blog, they'll be down below, or if you are on YouTube, the link to my blog will be down below. So you can check all that stuff out. If you want to find out more information about the Houston Fiber Fest, if you are in the area, the general Houston area, because it is very large, you can come, and as far as I'm aware, I'm pretty sure that the admission into the showroom is free. You have to pay for classes, but I think all the classes are full at this point. But I'm not an expert because this is my first Fiber Festival that I've ever been to, so I don't know really how it works. So I'm probably not the best one for information, but if you want to find out more and what days you can go, because it's Friday through Saturday, or Friday through Sunday, excuse me, I will put the link to the website in the show notes, so don't worry about that. I hope you've had a wonderful week, and I hope you continue to have a wonderful weekend. We have fun weekend plans to celebrate Father's Day with my in-laws, so that is very exciting. I hope to get lots of knitting done because I have lots of fun knitting in the works, and yay! I'm so excited. So hopefully I'll have a lot to show you next week, for sure. Also, at the end, I will be including all the footage of me steeking so you can enjoy that and you can laugh at my dancing and lip syncing and all that kind of stuff. So, hope you enjoy. Also, thank you again to my husband for filming for me while I did that. So, yay. So, I guess that is all that I have for you guys this week, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye! Or the...
You did the scissors?
Yeah, the gold scissors. I'm getting ready to steak and it's very terrifying. Okay. So, I need to put this pink thread first.
What does that?
It just helped me stay straight on this
on
the stitch, so I could do it correctly. Oh my goodness, this is very
You can do it. You can do it.
Okay.
Do I boomerang now?
Yes.
What angle do you want it from? This, or like the top?
From the top would be really cool.
Okay.
Okay, you ready? Okay, good. Okay, someone's having a party. Cool.
I mean, you get like 2 seconds.
Yeah. Camera's better.
You want me to go ahead and start?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. I mean, there's a lot to cut, so.
Do you want me to video it the whole time?
I think so.
It looks good.
Thank you. This is quite scary.
I'm sorry. I wouldn't want to do that.
My hands are shaky. You like someone having a party? Okay, you can stop it now, and then you can start again once I get close to the end.
You can do it. I believe in you. It looks like it's working. So you basically like crochet those little guards to serve as things to keep it from unraveling?
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I crocheted into each one of those stitches to reinforce the edges.
Is there anything I can do to like help hold it or anything? Or like hold this apart?
I don't think so, but clearly it's going well.
Yeah, it looks like it's really working.
Yay. But my main concern is the ends, because that's what I was having
Oh,
this
I'm
difficulty
sorry.
with. I know that this is fine. Do you want to take this camera and maybe zoom in on what I'm doing?
Zoom in on it, but from where it is, or
I mean, you can pick it up and just make it. This is very scary.
I'm sorry, you're doing a good job.
Thank you. I was listening to The Greatest Showman while I was crocheting.
Did that inspire you?
It definitely did inspire me. And I got some funny footage, which is very entertaining. Oh my goodness. I can't believe I'm doing this.
You can do it.
Out of the however many years I've been knitting, I've never done this before.
That's crazy.
I know. I've always been very...
Do you want me to film anything with your phone again?
I think this will be fine.
Okay.
Thank you very much, though.
You can do it.
We're almost to the end. This is the greatest show.
Did it work?
I don't know.
It looks like
I'm just
it
gonna
worked.
leave it and... Oh my goodness. I'm sweating. I'm sweating quite profusely. But I did it!
Yay!
Yay!